Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Oscar and John's. I forgot the name of our podcast.
RIV Talks.
RIV Talks. There we go.
Killing us
hey, it's a joke. The people know. We know. All right, no. On a serious note, welcome back, everyone, to our third episode of Rally in the Valley Talks, RIV Talks, with myself and Oscar. Super excited to be here for our third episode,
yes,
man.
Sure.
Slowly but surely, it's happening. As you know from our last episode, our season has ended. It was a wonderful season.
Great season.
And today on this episode, we just kind of wanted to highlight briefly some of the games that we're going to deep dive in future episodes. So I'm going to start us off with one of our first games that we created this year. Actually, was the creation of that game, or the modification of it. We did have it in a previous year before we were a nonprofit, but we modified it for this year. It's called Color Run. And it basically involves a robot collecting blocks from one base and taking them to another of the same color. This year it was a good game for the kids. We kind of kept the rules light. Next year there is going to be rule variations where the game will be a little bit more complicated and have those kids that come back have a little bit more of a challenge and have to perfect the code on that robot to really make it happen and get those points on. We had a great turnout this year, this last game, and the game just was awesome off the hook. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked it because it was one of those that the students, especially during practice time, after school, they had to do a lot of measuring, and a lot of just precise pieces and arm attachments to this particular game. That's actually what kicked it up for them too. So
yeah, because the blocks that they collect, we actually call them, what do we call them, cubies?
Yeah, little cubers.
Little cubers. And the little cubers are
2x4 Lego bricks, and there's 8 of them.
8 of them. 8
of them stacked. Mm-hmm.
So they go and they create a mechanism to grab these blocks and drag them back or carry them back and place them in the correct area on the opposite side of the mat.
Right. And then you know what? We can actually, I think we can, we can probably attach a file so people can see what the mats look like.
And we'll have
online.
A photo up so you guys can see what that mat looks like. If you're not listening in and you're watching us, you can see what the mat actually looks like. And that mat will be present for next year's competition.
Just a variation of what, the
rules
order
and the expectation of how things are going to be played out.
Right.
So that takes us to our next one. With Oscar.
Yeah, that's obstacle course, and that one we've actually had a while, even before as a nonprofit. We actually used PVC pipe.
What is it, 12 years?
It's 9 years. It would have been 10 years. 9 years. But we've been using the obstacle course. It's pretty much, as it says, it's an obstacle course, and the students are programming on the fly, so they don't know what this course looks like. And the coaches, what they do at school, they throw down some tape with a 12-inch gap between the, little...
For our coaches listening, learn and train your kids on those angles.
And early and teaching how to do the measurements and understanding, the rotations and distance, how far that robot can go. But this one's always pretty, it's pretty challenging, because they're doing it on the fly.
Yeah,
so they walk in and they're measuring, and this year's competition, we give them a 10-minute window.
That's right. 10 minutes and whatever you can do to make it happen.
And that
3 attempts though.
Right, 3 attempts. But remember, you only get the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right when you check into the judge, and they had to program it and program it, and then to get those 3 attempts.
And
so
if they ran it, that would count against them as an attempt.
Right. So this is a course that really brings out the coders out there who really know how to code and this was a fun event. Again,
for my VEX people, next year you might have to code on the spot.
Yeah, this year VEX people,
this year we let you drive, but next year...
Remember, it's a beefier bot in a smaller space to drive, so you got to be pretty precise in that driving.
Pretty precise on the coding too.
So I think that kind of breaks down what obstacle course is. A couple of turns, they're breaking it. They're measuring right there on the spot, and
it's on the fly.
It's on the fly.
Be ready.
Yeah, we'll have examples on that too of actually this year's course, so you can kind of get an idea of what it looked like. So
we'll have that up for you guys to see. If you're viewing, if you're watching. The next game that we had this year was the soccer, which was a new game for this year.
Brand new game.
We designed it, and the objective was to make 3 goals. So you have 3 balls placed in front of the goal, like what do you call it?
They're foosballs, soccer balls.
Little foosball soccer balls, and it's called a oh my goodness, my terminology for soccer. It's not a free throw. I'm thinking basketball.
It's a penalty kick.
A penalty kick. There we go. See, there we go. Soccer fans, I apologize.
Penalty kick.
It's a penalty kick, and what we're doing is the robot goes up. It cannot drag the ball in. It has to treat it like a penalty kick. You get 1 attempt at each ball, shoot it into the goal, and that's the game, essentially.
Right, and then in years to come, we're talking about that the ball's going to be positioned in different spots on the mat, and when you see them, or we'll have a 1v1, yeah. 1v1. So we have a couple of ideas out there, but this fun mat to play on, again. The soccer nets were printed by our boy Brian, who was our 3D printer. And then the soccer nets are, I mean, they held up this whole year.
I wish I had one here now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, but they held up really well.
Great mats. A lot to do with that one. So now,
SUMO. One of the favorites and one of my babies. And actually, I saw this one being played almost 14 years ago.
Around the world.
Yeah, and this is one of the favorites. It's a robot 1 against 1, and they get 3 matches against that one bot, and they have back-to-back, side-to-side, and sudden death, where the robots put facing opposite of each other and trying to run their program.
And what a match this year with Vex robots, man. Where it was when it's a driver behind the robot, what a match. Really brought BattleBot vibes to the stadium.
It did bring that vibe to the stadium, and I think that was very exciting. Brought a little bit more excitement to SUMO. SUMO's already exciting as it is, and this year
SUMO's known worldwide, actually.
Right, it is.
Like, if you look behind you, actually, I have a SUMO robot from older competitions. I don't know if you want to show
this one
the
right
camera. Here. These are bots that, college, high school level kids use to program for SUMO.
And these are little
micro bots. Our bots that the kids bring are quite significantly bigger than these smaller bots, but it's just known. It's a world-known game.
And this is a great match. I mean, great event to at least show the younger kids that they're in 6th grade able to program their
spectator.
Yeah,
it's like such a privilege. So
SUMO's always our favorite. So that's our SUMO.
That's the SUMO race.
Now Moonrocks.
All right, so this was a new game brought to the Rally in the Valley. It was exclusively for Vex this year.
Yes, it was.
And it involved the collection of cubes, and they had a time limit, if I remember correctly. They have a time limit to drop those cubes into a basket or a drop-off area location.
Right, it was a 2-minute time limit to drop off 1 by 1 inch cubes, wooden cubes, and they were lifting them up into a, I think it's a 9-inch tall basket. And their job was to find a strategy to grab all those 10 cubes, gather them, and drop them off into the basket in the fastest time. And they only get 1 attempt.
1 shot.
So...
and they got penalized if it fell out or if it was driven off the mat in any way.
If it was driven off the mat, yes. If it fell out, only the robot, if it came off the mat, that was the only penalty. Yeah. But other than that, it was a strategy game. The student who's driving had to figure out... And a design game and how to figure out whatever type of claw or mechanism to lift up these cubes and drop them off into the basket.
I saw some really cool ones using rubber bands. That was a really cool mech system.
Some went traditional, just grabbing a claw and just dropping them off. So, I mean...
It was very cool to witness it, and it was very cool to be part of it,
So,
that's the Moonrocks.
And then hopefully in years to come, it'll be different... pieces that they're going to have to pick up. Variations
and different rules.
Maybe longer, maybe shorter. You never know.
Stay tuned for the surprise. Artemis. This is a mystery podcast. We're just full of mystery.
But Artemis is our next one. And actually, Artemis was picked up off of the Artemis project that's going on. The idea is what NASA's doing to put civilizations us on the moon. And we kind of geared that theme to Artemis this year. And what Artemis is, it's our STEAM Expo. It's where the students actually design something in that whole getting into the arts and the engineering aspect where they're designing a concept for, how would you live on the moon? I've seen students who had ideas on how would you bring water to the moon or how would you build buildings on the moon. So these students were making projects.
Yeah.
And how can I say it? Telling the judges their ideas. So they were little engineers coming up with these concepts.
Yeah.
With
explaining and how just trying to do the next step and questioning what is possible and what's not, and additionally adding it to science and seeing what the science behind certain ideas and dreams were.
Yeah, and you think about it, we're pitching this question to 3rd through 6th graders, and they're coming up with the stuff like, all right, how would you live on the moon, or what would you do? Yeah. So this brings out that level. Maybe you have that kid who's not the driver, or maybe the kid who's not the builder, but this is the kid who's the science kid, the researcher. And this is a chance. Yep. This is a chance that this kid gets to bring out his or her qualities on research, or maybe you have that kid who loves to just pitch ideas and loves to stand in front of a judge and wants to get out there. So we have RIV has it all.
I want to mention that this is the one event where you can combine a team.
Yes.
So RIV's teams have always been of 3 students per robot. In Artemis, you are allowed 6 students. So what a lot of the coaches do, including myself, is we'll take 2 of our teams that want to participate in it and we'll combine them for this specific event, and they work together on this research project. Because at the end of the day, essentially that's what it is. It's a research project. And they present their data and they present what they want to pitch. Some kids have made products. I know my last year's team, not this year's, but my last year's team came up with selling landscape on the moon and being real estate agents. And cool. That was their pitch was, well, someone's got to sell the land and someone's got to profit off of it, and how it's going to be profitable, and how are we going to sell real estate on the moon.
Yeah.
And this year's, I don't know if you want to show yours, but my team came up with, for this year, some oxygen-based system on how to make the air or what's in space on the moon convertible to make it more sustainable and breathable for the astronauts
or the people who are going to live there.
And taking ideas from flowers here on Earth, how they convert CO2 into oxygen, sticking all those concepts and trying to figure out a way of how they can make that happen for a spacesuit.
Wow.
So I don't know if your team's participating in that.
They did one where they were trying to figure out, well, we need water on the moon. And apparently they were doing a research that there are actually frozen pockets of ice on the moon, and they were coming up with a robot that would have to drill and find those pockets of ice. So they did the research. And then the year prior was where they were building. They said we're going to need construction people on the moon, so they built a 3D printed dome as the frame.
Yeah, as your real estate agents.
And then they have frames. They built a frame, an exterior frame, and they were in charge of just like, hey, we're going to build the frames for buildings, and then we'll have someone else come do the exterior of it. So I mean, the ideas come up with the kids come up with great ideas.
The kids are the ones who do it at the end of the day. I don't give them their ideas.
No, absolutely not. But this is one of those projects that's very open-ended and lets the students get very creative. So,
no.
But now, we are thinking.
We have a little surprise. Hold on, don't just give it to them.
No, I'm not just gonna give it to them.
They gotta wait a little suspense. Let's take a moment. No, all right, just kidding. No, we have plans for the future of RIV.
Of RIV.
I haven't seen the results yet on the last video, so we have to go back. Of RIV. And, go ahead, Oscar, tell them.
So we're thinking of pitching to the younger kids. We want to have the coaches start involving the younger kids. And when I mean younger kids, we're talking K, maybe, we'll say K for sure, up to 2nd grade. And that's going to be a whole different ball game. They won't be using, obviously, what we were talking about, the bigger bots, but we want to just
we're prototyping a junior league. Essentially.
And so be looking out for that. Right?
You'll be hearing out, be looking out for, if you're on our email list, if you're not, get on our email list, especially if you're a school that's interested in participating in an affordable robotics competition. We will be sending out something in the near future pitching to schools what robots will be taking and accepting for the junior league. And keep in mind that the creation of what we've created here has always been in the idea to keep things affordable and to be able to include schools that might not necessarily have huge budgets allocated for a robotics program.
And even sustainable in the sense of lasting years, not just one or two seasons. We're talking in several years, so they can keep using that same robot or the same mat. Just
that investment would go a long way in your students' education or your team's education. Some of you people might not be. Exactly. Some of you guys might not be schools. So keep an eye out for that. If you're not on our emailing list, hop on that emailing list. Send us an email, reach out, and then you will be getting information. Or even better, follow us on the gram.
Oh yeah, follow us on Instagram.
We're trying to get to 500 subscribers.
Yes, we need you guys on there.
There will be a giveaway at 500 subscribers.
500, yes.
So please hop on and make sure that you check out what we got going on our Instagram.
Right. But also you said to get in contact with us. It's riv.contact@rallyinthevalleyrobotics.org. So I know that my guys always give me a look about that, but but look out for those ideas and look out for the new junior league.
The junior league, very excited for it too.
And we got another one. We got another thing happening. We're talking about new games, possibly.
Yes.
We're talking about new games.
Next year we will be releasing a new game,
but we want to hear what you guys would like to see. What are something that you would like to see these robots doing at our event? And what
are your ideas in general for a great challenge for these kids and these students that come into robotics and just starting from ground zero? We're elementary school, we're the entry level, we're the first exposure that these kids get to robotics a lot of the time.
Right.
So this can either make it for them or break it for them. You know, they go into middle school, they go into high school, and this is either their passion or it's not. And we want to make sure that we leave outstanding, great memories for our students, our competitors, and our teams that participate. We just want to make sure that it's all around great. So what better way than to ask you guys what you think would be something that you'd want to see? You know, we've done soccer.
We got soccer, and then we have the obstacle course.
We have the obstacle course. We have sumo.
Right.
So what could be next? What do you want to see? So put that in the comments and let us know. We'll read those comments. We'll check out. We'll see maybe your game might be what we bring to the table.
Right. That'll be pretty neat.
As we are always evolving.
Right. Always evolving.
Always evolving.
And just making sure that the event's fun, right? And then something that's easy for an after-school program or a school doesn't have a big budget.
That's doable.
Right.
We want to make sure that everything we do is doable
and easily stored.
Yes,
because we know as teachers it's not something
that'll have to be a podcast in itself.
Yes, it does.
Storage.
Robot ultimate storage. But whatever you guys have out there. So we would love to hear your ideas and maybe we can design something with you.
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
That'll be great. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. It was a shorter one, but we were going to be deep diving each game and going over different things, different aspects, what coaches can do, what coaches have done, what struggles we've seen with the kids. And if I can leave you with one thing and one thing only, placement is king. In all games, any coach listening to this, placement is king.
Yes, if you don't place that robot in the right spot, it's that program's over. Right, exactly.
Game over. So, train your kids to learn how to place those robots.
Yes.
All right, guys. Till next time.
All right. That's John.
This is Oscar.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Have a great